Marsha Blackburn, a senator from Tennessee, had a take. Everything, I guess, is a distraction from the something nefarious in the Biden administration.
I think they used to do this about Benghazi too. Like you're saying this because of you want to distract from Benghazi.
Yeah. So the Wagner group, the incredibly right-wing, bloodthirsty mercenary group that thought Putin was too dovish on Ukraine, that was apparently the Biden administration trying to distract from Hunter Biden. That was some of the conspiracy theories that were circulating on the internet. Now, this take from Marsha Blackburn is even more galaxy-brained. Here we go. She says, if the U.S. Navy suspected that the Titan she means Titanic submersible, right? Titan submersible imploded just hours after it. The Titan submersible. Sorry. This is not the Titanic thing. Can you explain this really quickly?
Yeah.
Oh, it is the Titanic?
That's what that's called.
Oh, it was called the Titan submersible. Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. That the Titan submersible imploded just hours after it began its voyage. Why did the Coast Guard wait until Thursday, the same day the IRS whistleblowers testified before Congress, to make their announcement to the public? So what she's essentially saying, I have never thought about that.
So, I mean, there was some talk of this because James Cameron, I think, hinted at this, like that there was some intel from military origin suspecting that they heard an implosion and that the subsequent effort was, and like there are theories about that. And I do think I do think if we thought that it was imploded, we should have not kept that under wraps. And I think probably the reason we did, though, is less to do with to distract from the IRS whistleblowers and more that we don't want Russia, for instance, to know the kind of acoustic monitoring equipment that we have in the Atlantic Ocean. So like that's why.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't to distract from the IRS whistleblowers testifying before Congress, something that no normal person is paying attention to whatsoever. I mean, she is really... Like, we talk about Ron Johnson, we talk about Tommy Tuberville in terms of, like, dumber senators on the Republican side, and she's up there as well.
This is like the whole right wing is all of a sudden, like, into psyops, and it's effing ridiculous, like, their version of them.
And there's no reason that this news story, outside of its absurdity, would be in any way a larger story that would be big enough to distract from the IRS whistleblowers before Congress, except for the absurdity of the fact that it was like put together in what seems like a haphazard way where they cut corners, this corporation, so they could bleed rich people dry and take them down
perfectly
to desecrate a graveyard for weird rich guy tourism. Like, that's why it was funny-ish and tragic. I mean, the way they died is horrible, but funny-ish. But like, how in God's name could this story have been artificially inflated by political powers that be? It was absurd in and of itself. But she's saying that they didn't save them, or that they covered up the implosion,
that they waited to release it because they're like, we have this great news about, we know it's an implosion, let's hold that so we can announce it and at the perfect time to distract from this IRS whistleblower.
But to Matt's point, there are 40 million reasons that they would have covered up them not doing something Coast Guard wise with the Titan submersible that has nothing to do before they got to this could distract from the IRS whistleblowers.
God.
I mean, the one thing that we should talk about...
Are you sure it wasn't the Hunter Biden laptop that it was?
Yeah, that's a good point.
The laptop from hell?
From the Hunter Biden laptop from hell in the Biden crime family. I mean, don't you get it? How do we not know that the Biden crime family didn't poke holes in the submersible so that the billionaires go down there, get crushed like that from the water pressure, and then we don't talk about Burisma at all? Right? Because this is a massive news story on cable news.
Then you can only focus on one thing at a time.
That's true. I heard that before.
It's like everyone talking about Wembanyama, and people can't even talk about Chris Paul getting traded.
Exactly. If I were a Warriors fan, I would not be that happy about that trade, but